In part one, I described the effect of the Saturn transit, shown in red here, and the great difficulty that it foretells, not only now, in December, but as we move into January, and especially in this block of time from the middle of January until the middle of March. Now here, we're adding the effect of Jupiter. And to understand that, here is where it was transiting in 2022. This column shows you December 2022 and into the spring of 23. So you notice that in the mid-May period of 2022, Jupiter enters Aries, and then it makes its way forward until it reaches almost 9 degrees at the end of July, where it makes a station. Then it backtracks retrograde until late October, whereupon it entered Pisces, and it's where it is now. It's about to go back into Aries, as you can see here, December 21st. The point being that when Jupiter entered Aries, the situation downtrended significantly for Trump, most especially because very soon after that, in early June, correlates with the beginning of the January 6 committee hearings, televised, exposing all his problems. Then, as we move toward the station, we notice that very soon after that, and stations are such that you look a couple of weeks before, a couple of weeks after, for the period of greatest intensity. And this, in fact, becomes probably the most dangerous point of this Jupiter transit for Trump. And you'll remember that it was in the first half of August when we had the FBI raid, entry, call it what you like, to Mar-a-Lago, which of course was deeply embarrassing, and revealed the fact that he had committed a serious crime, which now forms probably the clearest basis for the Justice Department to indict him, because it is a relatively easy case to prove. So you see that these degrees are very vulnerable, and you see that Jupiter is about to re-enter these degrees now in December, the early degrees that is, and then it makes its way to those 6, 7, 8 degrees that are most dangerous. And why is that? It's because Jupiter is transiting in this part of his chart, which links it to the Neptune, Eris, Mercury, the infamous Access Hollywood T-square, which is the most vulnerable part of his chart, and it involves the ninth sign, the place of legalities, the law, literally. And so Jupiter first opposes Neptune, soon after that conjoins Eris, and then it squares Mercury, which would be shown here by something along the lines of late January, going through here into approximately early March. Therefore, it's another distinction you can make. You've got this swath here with Saturn being very dangerous in terms of something difficult, negative, highly problematic happening, and now you add Jupiter within that to further explain why this period shown by this box is extremely dangerous. Now remember that Jupiter traditionally is said to be a very beneficial planet. So why is it doing this in his chart? It's doing this because Jupiter is beneficial in most conjunctions that are free of difficult aspects or trines or sextiles. It's not the same if it's in square or opposition. And then you also look at the condition of the planet of Earth. And his Jupiter definitely is a major asset to him. It does trine the sun, sextiles the moon, and you could argue loosely sextiles the Pluto. However, it also squares the Saturn-Venus conjunction in the 12th sign. You could say, broadly speaking, if you pool these planets together, Jupiter is essentially squaring the 3-planet energy in the 12th sign. Now, the 12th sign involving matters of committing crimes, which he is very adept at, turns this into a very problematic square because Jupiter is an expansionary force, so he will actually enthusiastically carry on like this. And so then this means this planet, when it is circulating in transit, can bring that energy into play. And that's what it did earlier this year, particularly through the FBI raid, and now it's going through there again. You have to picture that if a transit is happening in your chart at a certain point in your life, and the high-level police breaks into your house with a court order, you would probably have to classify that as a rather negative event, meaning something very serious is happening, which is very liable to damage you. And that is what is happening again here. And this is definitely a case where the adage that states past this prelude applies. And therefore, now we have Jupiter and Saturn, the two biggest forces in the solar system, excepting the sun, are both together ganging up on the Orange Menace.